Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing absolutely great. I know I haven't uploaded in the last 5-6 days. I do apologize for that. I'm going to start uploading at least one video a day just so I'm staying consistent. Anyways, we have the female Mexican president suing Google today over the Gulf of America name dispute. Let's just go right ahead and get right into it.
Buenos días, buenos días.
Me gustaría saber si nos puede adelantar algún tema, alguna propuesta que ya se haya hecho.
Google no
Here's what I don't understand. All bodies of water are recognized by the United Nations, aren't they? So how is this even possible?
tiene derecho a renombrar la plataforma continental de México.
Google has no right to rename Mexico's continental shelf. Yeah, Google is a monopoly. It's a company. It's never been elected, has no authority, has no power. All it has is its money and dirty secrets.
No tiene ningún derecho ni la plataforma continental de Cuba, porque está dividido en los tres países, el Golfo de México.
Divided between 3 countries, and I think Cuba is the 3rd country. So yeah, not one country gets all the say. I get what she said.
Si me equivoco en la traducción, ahí me corrigen. El gobierno de México procederá a ejercer las acciones que conforme a derecho estime pertinente. Vamos a esperar la respuesta de Google y si no, pues procederemos ya en tribunales.
Shit. They're standing on business. I'll give them that. Google will not change the policy it outlined after U.S. President Donald Trump declared the body of water the Gulf of America. We will wait for Google's response, and if not, we will proceed to court. As it stands, the Gulf of America appears in Google Maps. I also looked at Google Earth. It is on Google Earth as well. Anyways, it appears as Gulf of America within the United States, as Gulf of America within Mexico, and Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America in parentheses, elsewhere. Turner in his letter said the company was using the Gulf of America to follow long-standing maps policies, and partially inconsistently across all regions. The company also is willing to meet in person with the Mexican government. While international treaties and conventions are not intended to regulate how private mapping providers represent geographic features, it is our consistent policy to consult multiple authoritative sources to provide the most up-to-date and accurate representation of the world. Well, if they were so focused on being up-to-date, then why are they cherry-picking who sees what in the most obvious way and cheeky way? It's very cheeky. Mexico has argued the mapping policy violates Mexican sovereignty because the US only has jurisdiction of less than half the Gulf, and Mexico has more control, 49% over 46%, and Cuba has 5% of control. The name Gulf of Mexico dates back to 1607, 400 years, and is recognized by the UN. Yep. So it is recognized by the UN. So what authority do we have to just start renaming bodies of water? In response to Google's letter, Mexican authorities said they would take legal action, writing that under no circumstance will Mexico accept the renaming of a geographic zone within its own territory and its jurisdiction. Fuck yeah. You get it, Mexico. Take down that fucking monopoly. You know, and something tells me they're not going to win that fight in the court. I'm talking about Mexico. I think the monopoly Google is actually going to win it due to public opinion and Republicans being too ecstatic and euphoric to be self-aware. Along with the legal threat to Google, the Mexican president also announced Monday that Mexico and the US would hold high-level meetings this week on trade and security in an effort to maintain a long-term plan of collaboration between the two countries. Here's my thing. If we don't want them bitching about us sending their people back or us wanting them to take care of their cartels that we designated as terrorists, then why are we starting these trivial, petty fucking fights with them? It makes no sense to me. And to top it all off, it's the first month of Trump's presidency. And if I remember right, the female Mexican president wasn't in office when Trump was in office. And so these sort of threats and everything isn't doing too well for his first impression, I would say. Last week, the White House barred Associated Press reporters from several events, including some in the Oval Office, saying it was because of the news agency's policy on the name. The AP is using Gulf of Mexico to ensure that names of geographical features are recognizable around the world, but also acknowledging Trump's renaming of it as well. Other journalistic organizations, such as the White House Correspondents Organization and the New York Times, have echoed the AP in raising alarm about press freedom violations. Damn. So Trump kicked someone from the AP out because they were still calling it the Gulf of Mexico? Is that it? Who gave Trump the authority to dictate what waters are called what? I think for the first time in over 8 years, I'm going to have to agree with the Democrats on something. That's crazy. And my fellow conservatives are going to be too delirious and tribal to be able to admit they're wrong on this one. It sets a very dangerous precedent for, exiling those you disagree with or exiling those who ask questions you disagree with. That's a very, very bad bar. We're so close to tyranny if we keep going that route. It's sad because we used to tell Democrats for years, if you're not willing to ask your leaders questions, then you're in a cult. And now here we are.